I wasn't part of the discussion. There was no meeting for me to attend, no moment where my opinion was requested. I was informed after everything was final, not dramatically, not harshly, just calmly, as if the decision had always existed and I was simply late to it. It happened on an ordinary day, the kind of day that doesn't carry meaning while you're in it. I woke up at the usual time, did what needed to be done without thinking much about it, answered messages that didn't require answers, read emails that didn't change anything. I remember standing still for a moment, looking at something familiar, waiting for the next task to present itself. Nothing felt unsettled. There was no sense that something was missing, no intuition telling me to prepare, no pause suggesting a shift was coming. When the message arrived, it blended in with everything else. Same format, same neutral language, same polite distance. I didn't open it immediately, not because I was avoiding it, but because nothing about it demanded urgency. It wasn't written as a question. It didn't ask for availability. It didn't invite participation. It arrived the way updates do when decisions no longer need input. As I read it, I noticed something quietly. There was no beginning in the message, only a middle. It referenced conversations I hadn't been part of, steps that had already been taken, outcomes already aligned. I started reconstructing the timeline in my head, not urgently, not emotionally, just carefully. I thought about the days before, the moments where nothing seemed out of place, the spaces where a conversation could have happened without being announced. I realized my expectation had never been spoken out loud. I hadn't been told I would be included. I had assumed it, not because I was promised a role, but because participation had felt reasonable, because involvement often feels implied until it's quietly removed. There was no point where I could say I was excluded, only a realization that inclusion had never been scheduled. What stayed with me wasn't frustration, it was the tone. Everything was presented as complete, balanced, resolved. There was no tension to react to, no opening to step into, just a finished structure that functioned perfectly without my presence. That's when it became clear. Being informed is efficient. Being included is intentional. And intention was absent. I didn't respond right away. I acknowledged the information the way adults do when nothing can be changed. Later, alone, the moment replayed itself not as a scene, but as a pattern. I noticed how familiar it felt, not as a dramatic event, but as a quiet arrangement, the kind that doesn't leave marks but reshapes how you position yourself afterward. I didn't ask questions, not because I didn't have them, but because the answers were already implied. The decision wasn't made against me, it was made without me. And there's a difference. One creates conflict, the other creates clarity. Understanding that took time, not to process emotion, but to adjust awareness. Nothing followed after that. No clarification, no revision, no attempt to reframe. Life continued exactly as it does when systems function properly. But something had shifted quietly. The moment you're informed is not always about the decision itself. Sometimes it's the moment you understand where you were never positioned to influence the outcome. And once that becomes clear, there's no need to react. You simply take note.